Hello everyone, Daisy here again with another layout for Kitaholic kits, and this is the August kit, which is based around the Pink Fresh Studio Just a Little Lovely, I believe it's called, collection. And I am using the sketch for this month, and this was provided by one of the design team members, Miranda, and she created this sketch that I showed at the beginning of the video for us to use. And so this is kind of what I chose to do with it. So I'm starting out by pulling in one of my stash items, which is those Nuvo watercolor pencils. And I'm going to do a little bit of watercolor on the background here. Now unfortunately I didn't wait long enough for my gesso to dry, so it turns out a little bit different than I wanted it to, but it's alright. I still like it in the end. So I used some clear gesso on my page, and I ended up putting it on the entire page because I accidentally squirted out too much, but it wasn't really necessary because I'm just going to do this little kind of splotch here. And I'm using the purple with my watercolor pen, and you just saw there I did thumbs down because I tried to paint or draw the color on, but because the gesso was still wet, it wouldn't kind of spread the way I wanted it to. So now I'm just taking my water brush and the tip of the pencil and kind of flicking the water brush on that tip, and that's allowing the color to kind of come off. And then I'm just using a little bit extra water here and spreading it around and adding a little bit more color. I really like the splatters that I get this way. They're nice and little, and they don't end up kind of elongated. They turn out the way I always like envision splatters in my head. So yeah, just kind of playing with that a little bit more. I don't want the like run off line look like I'm getting right there, but it doesn't really end up mattering because I do end up covering a lot of it up, but I'm trying to kind of connect those lines with the color here. Now this purple pencil is kind of like a purple and a pink kind of combination, I guess. Some areas dry really purple, and then the more you water it down it looks a little bit more pink. So some areas turn a little pink, but that works really well with this collection, so I'm totally in love with the way it turns out. So I'm just using my heat gun to dry the area, and my trick is I do some on the front and then I flip it over and I do dry on the back as well, and that I find helps the warping a little bit so that it doesn't curl up quite as much. And then I did go off camera and I sewed all these together. Now unfortunately I lost a little bit of footage, so you didn't get to see kind of my thought process here, but I took some scrap pieces that I had left over from the previous project I did for Kitaholic kits and put them together in these strips. I cut a little piece out in some like notebook kind of edge, and then I did use another thing out of my stash items, that little kind of glitter trim, or not glitter, I guess it's sequin trim, and I sewed them all together in strips, and those are kind of recreating the vertical strips that are on this sketch. Now I was going to use 3 photos, but they weren't the right size for that, so I decided to just use 2 and pop them up on some fun foam here. And as with most mixed media, it ends up getting covered up, but I do like what kind of sticks out from the edges there. I did add part of the little doily that comes in the kit underneath the photo there, and then I created another kind of cluster of these strips down at the bottom using kind of the same pieces that I have in this bigger cluster. I'm just using my scissors and kind of ruffling up the edges a little bit. I have to keep my nails short for work, so sometimes I don't have any nails and can't do that, so I use the edge of my scissors and it works out just fine. Here I am kind of going through and thinking about what I want to add. And I don't want to go too crazy because I really love how this is looking. So I chose to add one of those three-dimensional stickers, also from Pink Fresh. And then this is a third piece from my stash items, and that is Indigo Hills 2, I believe, a little tab or journaling spot, and the color purple went really well. And I'm just like flipping through everything, and it is off camera a little bit, so you don't get to see everything, so I apologize for that, but I'm just kind of going through my kit and trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, because I got to this point and then I'm like, I was totally stuck. I had no idea what else I wanted to, where else I wanted to go with this. So the pictures are of my daughter. We, for her birthday, she got to pick where we went out to eat, and she chose Golden Corral, which is an all-you-can-eat buffet, and they have a chocolate fountain. So she had like one plate of regular food and then went directly for the desserts. But you know, it was her birthday dinner, so why not? So I'm working on my title, and I did pull in these stickers from last month's kits, from the July kits, and these are from Pebbles, and they're the thicker words. And so I pulled in the word celebrate because I thought that was fitting for her birthday. And now I'm going to use these little puffy stickers, and they're tiny and not very sticky. So I recommend when you're trying to put them straight, add a little glue while you're working on them, because I had to go back and redo all of this off camera because I didn't add any glue and they were kind of not wanting to stick, especially with the gesso. So I recommend adding a little bit of glue. But I'm going to like painstakingly put down all of these letters. I'm just using the edge of the plastic as kind of my straight edge. And I'm kind of creating a long title, so it's going to be Celebrate with a Chocolate Fountain, or actually Let's Celebrate with a Chocolate Fountain, because I thought it was fitting, since that's what she mainly ate, was stuff dipped in chocolate. So in these pictures she's eating a chocolate covered strawberry, and she kept making like these weird faces, and so I thought it was a really fun kind of series of photos. I like to take a lot of photos like in a row, because I like when they tell a story and you can add more than one on there at a time. So I really enjoy that, and especially when you get the same photo with two different faces, I think it's just adorable. But anyhow, I'm just finishing off my title here. So if you haven't already, head on over to kitaholic.com and check out everything that's in the shop. You can sign up for the kits as well as purchase other items that are available. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye!